Hi, everybody. Here to talk about functional communication training. More acronyms, FCT, functional communication training. Really what that means is teaching kids how to talk and how to demand or request for things. The biggest thing, though, is really trying to take a function-based approach to it, meaning that it's not enough to teach someone to ask for something, but what we're looking at, what do they want to request and why do they want to request it? So for instance, if we have a child with negative behavior, for instance, say for instance, a student is banging his head, go for it, Shira. We want to look at what the function is. Why is the student engaging in negative behavior? Once we can determine why that student is engaging in negative behavior, so think about your functions, would it be attention, would it be escape, would it be because the student wants something, then we can target the language skills used.
Right, and I think another thing to consider is that sometimes, since behavior is communication, sometimes the behavior is telling us not necessarily what they do want, but what they don't want. So we have to really look at the function and teach them how to even get out of things, or teach them how to tell us to stop, or tell us that they don't want to do things, and give it to them as an option. So we would teach that in a separate teaching situation so that they get used to using those words, and they could be words, they could be pictures, they could be signs, they could be anything that tell us how to get their message across that's not in a way that's harmful or aggressive to anyone around them. And we would teach them in a practice situation and give them lots of opportunities to practice before we're able to generalize that into a situation where they actually are upset and they actually might go to some aggression or self-harm. And then we can prompt them to use the words that we've taught them to use. And then just because they say, I don't want to, or this is hard, doesn't mean that they're going to get out of it every single time, but at least now they have the words, and then we can start teaching them how to tolerate when the answer is no, you have to do this anyway, or you might have to wait to get what you want. Just because you're telling me that you want chips instead of banging your head, it doesn't mean I'm going to give you chips every time you say that. You can say that, I can acknowledge it, and I can say you're going to have to wait till after dinner. So those are some really important strategies and steps in teaching functional communication training to replace any other type of negative behavior that a child is using instead of communication.